And welcome back. It's time once again for our Ozarks Live Book Club, and Sharon Langley is here from the Springfield Greene County Library. Sharon, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm good. I love doing these book clubs here on Ozarks Live. So you brought me 3 selections today. Okay, so this first one is called So Long, Chester Wheeler. Tell me about this one.
So Long, Chester Wheeler was recommended to me by a patron. I've not read anything by Catherine Ryan Hyde. It really is a touching book. It is about a person that they thought they had everything going for them. They went to work one day thinking they were going to get a huge raise. They had a pink slip.
Oh.
When they got home, they found out their partner was leaving them. To make matters worse, their neighbor, who was a homophobic, bigoted, terminally cancer-ill man,
Oh my God.
was just making his life worse by he would just berate them and make fun of them and just make their life just much more hard than it could be. Well, Chester Wheeler exhausted all the help he could get. He had no longer had health care. His daughter had abandoned him. And here Lewis was out of a job. It begins a beautiful journey of how two people, total opposites, become friends. And how they do that. He becomes Chester's health care worker. And they go on a trip across country to fulfill a dream, his last wish.
Yeah.
It's a great book. It's very, very touching.
Yeah, I love this idea of like an unlikely friendship that turns into such a special bond. You know?
It's a wonderful book. I'm so glad it was recommended to me. Otherwise, I would not have read it. I don't read that much just nonfiction, but it was a great read. I really recommend it.
Yeah, without giving anything away, what do you love most about that book?
The way that their ideas of each other changed. And it was a forced change, but it did happen. And it was, the way it worked out was beautiful. It was really beautiful. There was, I won't spoil anything, but there was one little segment of the book that I just cried. It was so touching. You know, there was so much grace that Lewis had for Chester in the end. I don't know how he got to that place, but he did. He did.
Well, it sounds like a really good book. Okay, another one you brought me today is called Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Tell me about this one.
Fairy Tale is a Stephen King, it could be a trilogy. It is a great fantasy book. It starts out with a young man. He's 17 years old. He came up pretty hard life. His mother was killed. His dad fell into alcoholism, and he made a promise that if his dad could turn his life around, that he would pay back. He made a promise to God. He knows that his dad does, gets back on the road to recovery, but he knows that he's going to have to redo this favor, and it always hangs over his head. And then one day he finds out that he finds an old man that has fell off a ladder, and he thinks, this is where I have to repay this favor, make my promise. It's a journey where he takes care of this unlikely man. There is a dog in it. If you are a dog lover, this dog is named Radar. He's at the end of his life. And the fantasy goes that this old man has some hidden secrets, and it will unveil itself. And it's a wonderful fantasy. The end goal is, can Radar make it? You know, can Radar make it back? It's just a beautiful story.
Okay, 2 really good selections. You've got a third one by Viola Davis called Finding Me. Tell me about this one.
That book is so good. It is a book that will make you laugh, cry. It was upsetting about the things that she went through, but all of her experiences led her to where she is. Her struggles in life, she could not have made it without knowing what it was to have hardships. There's a part in that book where she's being interviewed, and someone says to her, tell me who you are, not what you do. Who are you? And Will Smith is asking her this. And she has to reflect and think, who am I? And she goes back to who she is really deep inside as an 8-year-old girl that was terrified to go home after school because she was bullied and beat up and ridiculed and abused. And Finding Me is she realizes that, and she goes through the trauma and works through it in her life, and it gets her to where she is. I mean, she is such a great actor. I just really admire her, and even more so by reading this. This was another, I had to wait for this book. It is worth the wait.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful book.
Sharon, all 3 selections sound awesome. Thank you for bringing these. If people want more information with the library, where do they go?
You can go online. You can read this book right now online.
Okay.
You can call us. We will reserve it and put it on hold for you. There's a great selection at the library.
All right, Sharon, thank you so much. Always appreciate the library coming over.
Thank you.